A strong hold over current affairs is crucial for aspirants to succeed in the UPSC Civil Services examination. Administer your preparation with updated and relevant news with the monthly Current Affairs Revision Program. Starting from 20th September at 5 p.m., the 60 dedicated classes offer detailed topic-wise coverage of important news compiled through authentic sources such as The Hindu, Indian Express, PIB, Yojana among others. Enhance your knowledge with up-to-date contextual understanding of all current affairs, expert support through personal mentoring, assessment through MCQs and mains-oriented questions, doubt-clearing sessions, student portal access.
Hello and thank you for tuning into this edition of News Today. Without delay, let's have a look at the headlines first. Polaris Dawn mission successfully completes world's first private spacewalk. Amazon and Walmart's Flipkart exclusive launch of products in breach of antitrust laws, says CCI. Environmental compensation guidelines issued for battery waste management. India's first CO2 to methanol pilot plant proposed in Pune, Maharashtra. US-India Strategic Clean Energy Partnership Ministerial meeting convened in Washington, D.C. Regional disparity among Indian states highlighted by a working paper by EAC-PM. In a groundbreaking achievement, the Polaris Dawn mission, a privately funded space mission by Jared Isaacman, in collaboration with SpaceX, has successfully completed the world's first private spacewalk. The mission also explored Earth's regions of high radiation, including the South Atlantic Anomaly and Van Allen radiation belt, to study the effects of space radiation on human health. But what exactly are these regions? Let's begin with the Van Allen radiation belt. It was discovered in 1958 by astrophysicist James Van Allen. Looking ahead, Earth's magnetosphere traps the high-energy radiation particles and shields the Earth from solar storms and solar winds that can damage technology as well as people living on Earth. These trapped particles form two belts of radiation, inner and outer, known as Van Allen belts, that surround the Earth. The inner belt results from cosmic ray interactions with the atmosphere, while the outer belt contains high-energy particles from the Sun. Astronauts and spacecraft must fly through these belts to reach outer space, which is why it's crucial to pass through them quickly to limit radiation exposure. NASA plans to use its upcoming Artemis missions to send astronauts beyond Van Allen radiation belt to land on South Pole of Moon by the end of 2025 and eventually onto Mars. Next, we have the South Atlantic Anomaly. This is a region over the South Atlantic Ocean where the inner Van Allen belt dips unusually close to Earth, leading to increased levels of ionizing radiation. This leads to highly increased levels of ionizing radiation and related impacts on spacecraft in low Earth orbits. For example, correspondingly increased radiation exposure of astronauts and electronic components on International Space Station.
In a major development, the Competition Commission of India has found e-commerce giants Amazon and Flipkart guilty of violating India's antitrust laws. The CCI's investigation revealed that both platforms indulged in anti-competitive practices such as offering exclusive product launches, giving preferential treatment to select sellers, and prioritizing certain listings, all of which distort competition and harm consumers. India's antitrust framework, primarily governed by the Competition Act of 2002, amended in 2023, aims to foster fair competition by preventing abuse of dominant positions and regulating mergers. Adding to this, the Consumer Protection E-commerce Rules of 2020 mandate that e-commerce platforms maintain a level playing field, prohibiting deceptive practices or promotions that influence consumer decisions. The law explicitly bans exclusive selling agreements on e-commerce platforms. All vendors on the e-commerce platform should be provided services in a fair and non-discriminatory manner. Services include fulfillment, logistics, warehousing, advertisement, payment, and financing, among others. Additionally, any vendor who purchases 25% or more of its inventory from an e-commerce group company will be considered to be controlled by that e-commerce company and thereby barred from selling on its own portal. E-commerce platforms can operate under two models. The inventory model. Inventory of goods and services is owned by e-commerce entity and sold directly to the consumers. Notably, in India, FDI is not permitted in this model to protect India's unorganized retail sector, not capable of offering big discounts. Alternatively, under the marketplace model, e-commerce entity provides a technology platform to act as a facilitator between buyer and seller. 100% FDI is permitted under automatic route.
In a crucial step towards promoting environmental sustainability, the Central Pollution Control Board or CPCB has issued new guidelines under the Battery Waste Management Rules 2022. These guidelines focus on ensuring the proper management of battery waste across the country, and they aim to hold producers and related entities accountable for any non-compliance. So what is environmental compensation? Simply put, the 2022 rules give CPCB the authority to impose and collect environmental compensation from producers, recyclers, and refurbishers of waste batteries if they fail to comply with the rules. Environmental compensation can also be charged if entities are operating without proper registration, providing false information, or concealing material facts. Importantly, the idea here is based on the polluter pays principle, meaning those responsible for pollution must bear the cost of managing it. It shall also be levied on producer operating with respect to non-fulfillment of their extended producer responsibility targets, responsibilities and obligations set out in these rules. EPR means responsibility of any producer of battery for environmentally sound management of waste battery. If a producer fails to meet these targets, environmental compensation will be imposed. However, paying the compensation doesn't mean they're off the hook. Any unfulfilled EPR obligation will be carried forward to the next year, ensuring long-term accountability. Now, let's look at how the guidelines break down the environmental compensation into two regimes. EC Regime 1 focuses on the producers of batteries. It imposes EC on them if they fail to meet metal-wise EPR targets for different types of batteries like lead acid and lithium-ion batteries. EC Regime 2 applies to any entity violating the Battery Waste Management Rules 2022. This could include operating without proper registration or failing to comply with other necessary regulations, and the compensation is based on the application fees. These guidelines reflect the government's commitment to improving waste management practices and ensuring that battery producers play an active role in environmental protection.
In a groundbreaking development for India's climate strategy, Pune, Maharashtra is set to host the country's first CO2 to methanol pilot plant with a capacity of 1.4 tons per day. This plant is a joint effort between public and private sectors, supported by the Department of Science and Technology, and marks a significant step in advancing carbon utilization technologies. CO2 to methanol technology is part of the larger suite of carbon capture, utilization, and storage efforts. While carbon capture technologies are already advancing, the conversion of captured CO2 into useful products like methanol is still underdeveloped. The process involves capturing carbon emissions, particularly from industrial sources like power plants or directly from the air. Captured CO2 is then hydrogenated, reacted with hydrogen to produce methanol. This technology has the potential to significantly reduce greenhouse gas emissions and provide a sustainable source of fuel. The Pune plant will not only showcase this, but also boost indigenous research in carbon capture and utilization, aligning with India's Panchamrit goals to reduce carbon intensity. CCUS technologies, according to the International Energy Agency, capture CO2 from large, stationary emitters like power plants and transport it to sites where it can be stored or utilized. In some cases, captured CO2 is injected into geological formations or depleted oil and gas fields for permanent storage. The significance of CCUS goes beyond just capturing emissions. It can help decarbonize hard-to-abate sectors like cement and steel, enable low-carbon hydrogen production via coal gasification, and support India's net zero goals with advancement in direct air capture technologies. But despite its promises, CCUS faces challenges in India. Costs for carbon capture vary widely across sectors, and the country's geological data on storage options such as saline aquifers, basaltic formation remains limited. Additionally, infrastructure for transporting and storing CO2 is still underdeveloped.
In a significant move towards a greener future, The US-India Strategic Clean Energy Partnership or SCEP ministerial meeting took place in Washington, D.C. This partnership aims to boost clean energy innovation and accelerate the transition to sustainable energy. Both countries highlighted progress under 5 core pillars: power and energy efficiency, responsible oil and gas, renewable energy, emerging fuels and technologies, and sustainable growth. Several key initiatives were emphasized at the meeting. For instance, the Renewable Energy Technology Action Platform, launched in 2023, is designed to develop actionable roadmaps for technologies like hydrogen, offshore wind, and long-duration energy storage through incubation, investment, industry networks. Another notable development is the launch of the National Center for Hydrogen Safety in India. Additionally, a public-private energy storage task force has been established to address key issues like policy frameworks, safety and supply chains in energy storage. Projects like technical feasibility study of battery energy storage systems in Assam and pilots in Haryana were also highlighted. Long-term energy storage is a key focus, with pumped storage being recognized as an important solution. There was also a focus on sustainable aviation fuels, with efforts underway to build supply chain capacity and fuel certification. On the smart grid front, new developments were announced under the US-India Collaborative for Smart Distribution System with Storage, also known as UI Assist. This program, funded by both the US Department of Energy and India's Department of Science and Technology, bridges the gap between smart grid, storage, and renewable energy research. The US-India Strategic Clean Energy Partnership was launched in 2021 under the US-India Climate and Clean Energy Agenda 2030 partnership. Its aim is to advance energy security, scale up clean energy technologies, and promote electrification and decarbonization. But why is clean energy so important? First, it enhances energy security, reduces air pollutants, and plays a pivotal role in achieving sustainable development goals like SDG 7 for clean energy and SDG 13 for climate action. This partnership is just one of many initiatives promoting clean energy. Others include the International Solar Alliance, the EU-India Clean Energy and Climate Partnership, and India's Clean Energy International Incubation Center.
In a new report that sheds light on the widening economic gap among Indian states, a working paper titled Relative Economic Performance of Indian States 1960-61 to 2023-24, published by the Economic Advisory Council to the Prime Minister, has highlighted significant regional disparities in GDP share and per capita income, especially post-liberalization. The paper shows that while Western states have been consistent performers, the Southern states emerged strong contenders post-1991 economic reforms. Together, the 5 Southern states now account for a substantial 30% of India's GDP in 2023-24. However, the maritime states have outshined the rest, with one striking exception: West Bengal. Once contributing 10.5% to the GDP in 1960-61, its share has now fallen to just 5.6%, reflecting a stark decline in its economic growth and per capita income. In contrast, Punjab and Haryana, once similar in growth trajectories, now tell very different stories. Punjab, once a powerhouse of agricultural growth, has seen its GDP contribution diminish post-1990s. Meanwhile, Haryana has seen a boom. The paper raises an interesting question. Could this be a case of Dutch disease, a phenomenon in economics where the growth of one sector, like agriculture, hampers the development of others such as industry and services? Notably, the disparities among states are due to various factors, including differences in industrialization levels, geographical advantages such as coastal access, and even environmental challenges like vulnerability to natural disasters. The government has initiated several measures to bridge these gaps. The Niti Aayog's Aspirational Districts Program and the Niti Forum for Northeast are key interventions. Additionally, the Finance Commission has advocated for higher resource transfers from the centre to backward states. Infrastructure projects such as the Industrial Corridor and Bharatmala Pariyojana aim to diffuse industrial activity across regions. Eminent social reformer and rationalist Periyar E.V. Ramasamy widely regarded as the father of the Dravidian movement, was remembered on his 146th birth anniversary on September 17th. Born in Erode, Tamil Nadu, he fiercely opposed Brahminical dominance and campaigned against gender and caste inequalities. A key figure in the Vaikom Satyagraha of 1924, he fought for the rights of lower castes to access public spaces. He also opposed the conservatism of the Indian National Congress and resigned from it in 1925. Additionally, he was associated with the Justice Party, formed in 1916 to oppose the political and economic power of Brahmins. Periyar also founded the self-respect movement in 1925, promoting rationality and the rejection of societal hierarchies. His legacy is built on values of self-respect, egalitarianism, and the courage to challenge oppression.
As we conclude today's main news, let's have a look at some quick updates. India-Germany platform for investments in renewable energies worldwide launched at 4th Global Renewable Energy Investors Meet and Expo, Reinvest. Reinvest is organized by Ministry of New and Renewable Energy. Moreover, the India-Germany platform worldwide aims to develop concrete and sustainable solutions for accelerated expansion of renewable energy in India and globally. At the 52nd Gastech Exhibition and Conference, Union Minister of Petroleum and Natural Gas highlighted the energy trilemma faced by India as it is expected to contribute to 35% of global energy demand in the next 2 decades. Energy trilemma consists of 3 often conflicting challenges related to energy which need to be balanced in the context of the rapidly changing energy sector. A recent study of fossils from Australia revealed the role of tectonic activity as the reason for evolution of coelacanths. Coelacanths are deep-sea fish that live off the coast of southern Africa and Indonesia. Some recent reports have highlighted that kleptoparasitism among birds are helping spread the avian influenza. It is a form of feeding where one animal takes prey from another that has caught, killed, or otherwise prepared, including stored food. Sayama village in Nagaland celebrated the Naga King Chili Festival, exhibiting a vibrant example of community farming. Naga King chili is one of the world's hottest chilies, certified by Guinness World Records in 2006 for its intense heat exceeding 1 million Scoville heat units. India is hosting formal meetings of COP9 Bureau and Funds Approval Committee of the UNESCO International Convention Against Doping in Sport in New Delhi. The convention was adopted in 2005 at Paris, France. Its objective is to promote the prevention of and fight against doping in sport with a view of its elimination. Recently, 127th anniversary of Battle of Saragadi was celebrated. Battle of Saragadi was fought between British Raj, 21 soldiers of 36th Sikh Regiment and over 8,000 Afridi and Orakzai tribal militants. Karma festival is celebrated in Jharkhand and other states of India. It is a harvest festival popular among Munda, Ho, Oraon, Bega, Khadiya and Santhal people. It is traditionally celebrated on 11th day of lunar fortnight in month of Bhadra, that is from August to September in Gregorian calendar. Before we sign off, let's challenge your understanding in today's installment of Test Your Knowledge. Thank you for joining us. We hope you found this episode of News Today engaging. For the solution to the quiz and to access the PDF version of News Today, remember to visit the provided links in the description below.